Hi there, I'm Ice here. This is Snickers, and after doing the video on the Elder Scrolls 6, I was kind of inspired to explore Time-Merrill and Elder Scrolls a little bit more with a view to figuring out where Elder Scrolls 6 might be set. I know I said in that video that the sort of craterish thing shown in the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer didn't remind me of anything I'd seen it in Lenumbra or Rivenspire, and I kind of stand by that comment, but I wanted to take a closer look, because if you look at the map of Lenumbra, there is sort of one thing that looks a little bit cratery here, and that's the sort of lake here next to Westtree or Westtry. But of course we don't see all of the crater, which might mean that it's not really necessarily a crater at all. It could just be a natural depression, because only see sort of half of the circular shape that a crater would have, semicircular. And there might definitely be some water at the bottom of it that the one thing the trailer doesn't show, or maybe at a different time there's just less water in the area. So let's take a closer look at the Elder Scrolls 6 teaser trailer and see if we can figure out what it is we're actually looking at and where that might be. Here, this definitely looks like gravel and rock. And as the fog lifts and clears, yeah, definitely more gravel, rock, obviously mountains, the sea, and the rocky, gravelly area seems to give way to more greener areas. Looks like maybe bushes, possibly even small trees, but more looks like small plants growing up here through all this white stuff. But I don't know exactly what this white stuff here is really supposed to be. Some people have been adamant this is not snow. I'm not 100% sure. It could be the remnants of snow that sort of haven't melted here because of the mountains yet, I suppose. It does really look like snow, though. I certainly don't think it looks like sand either, to be honest. It looks to me like there's something spread, not just the greenery growing off of this rock, but it's also something scattered over it. That could be wrong. Here this looks even more snowy. If it's sand, then it's very fine sand. Very white sand. I'm not completely convinced. To me, really, this has the texture of ash, to be honest. Could be wrong, obviously. Probably computer generated, might not be that similar to a real thing. Could be, and we're looking down at things from very far above. But if it's ash, well, it could be the result of some sort of cataclysm or magical something in High Rock. Other than that, otherwise, that doesn't really remind me of High Rock. They look like that to me. No, to me it looks like white ash, or either that or simply snow. And if it's actually ash, well, that makes you think of Morrowind, doesn't it? Which has an active volcano, and basically a lot of Morrowind has got a lot of ash rain, ash fall from the big eruption that happened around the time of Oblivion. That building does not look very doesn't look very done, but it could be. If this is the East Coast because of the shadow falling this way, so the sun must be here. That could, of course, be the sunrise from the east. That would put us in eastern Morrowind. Northeastern Morrowind is Telvanni territory, and this does certainly not look like a Telvanni tower or a Telvanni town. But could it be a Velothi town? Or a Velothi construction of some sort? It's got just about the right colour for it. The stonemasonry looks a bit rough for that. I have to admit, that looks more like some sort of North African something. That squares perhaps a little bit better with Hammerfell. closer to it. So yeah, if there are clues in this movie, they are quite contradictory. There's this brown tundra-like area over here. There is a town over there. Sort of, again, whitish, yellowish. Hard to tell whether that could be a Velothi structure or more, probably more like the stone masonry there. But certainly, to me, the coastline in the distance here looks pretty green. Not exactly lush, but green, grassy. I don't see any. It doesn't look like a kind of area that would have palm trees like you see in the Al-Kid Desert coastline in Elder Scrolls Online, does it? So we got some things that indicate maybe a little bit of desert, some things that indicate volcanic activity. This does not look like a volcanic crater to me. It is too far depressed into the ground. There's certainly no smoke coming off of any of these mountains. Compared to my memory of the place, there's a bit more of a sort of jagged end to this sort of valley than I remembered, and that's a bit more of what the trailer looked like. Notice I'm looking north now. Well, we'd be looking at it from the southern position in the trailer if the assumption that the coast we see is this coast, because the sun sets in the west and shadows seem to be going this way. I've set view distance to max, but still there's a lot of things that's lost in fog in Elder Scrolls Online. It's roughly jagged, but it's not quite as, the depression isn't quite as straight as that one in the crater. It's more rocky, a bit more uneven, but still this looks more like it than I remembered. But then you get over here. Let's try and sneak past under there. This is much more mountainous. Doesn't really overlook the crater like the ruin in the trailer does, and also, you know, the proportions of everything seem off. Let me show you. So if this were the crater shown in the video, then this presumably should be the shoreline. Now I'm heading into the crater on the sort of eastern side. You don't get the sheer direct drop here that it looks like the video is showing. So I don't think it's here. Although from just looking at the map, it looks like perhaps it might be. Now another popular theory on YouTube, put forward I think by CamelWorks, is that Elder Scrolls 6 is set in Hammerfell, around this area of Tamriel, and that the coastline we see off to the right in the trailer is the one going southwest here. Well, the coastline would be the one going down here, down that way, a little bit covered by that tree there, and the mountains which are to our right in the trailer would be the big mountains up here, which, as far as I can tell, you can't really get on top of in Elder Scrolls Online. You can get in the hinterlands here, which is a land of deep valleys. CamelWorks though makes a lot out of the 3 juts of land you can see sort of off in the horizon in the video, and compares that with a map or supposedly showing Hammerfell. Those 3 juts of lands aren't really that clear here in Elder Scrolls Online's version of the map. I suppose it might be that one, that one, and that one. Possibly that one. CamelWorks is confident that the city we we see off in the distance, just before the first sort of jet of land into the sea, which might be here I suppose, is the town of Santa Kalam, which in Elder Scrolls Online is located right here. Again, that is certainly possible. It seems to me that this town is much farther inland. Of course that could be, I don't know, maybe they moved the city. The city is also quite large, which might explain why that is the only really city on the coastline there that we really see. So here we are further down the Alakir Desert, overlooking the sea. And as you can see, to me at least, this area seems far hotter, even drier and more arid, and certainly more tropical. The vibes I get off of that trailer is, could this coastline really be the coastline we're seeing far off in that trailer? That doesn't that seem much greener and colder? Trailer that seems dry and deserty, but more in a sort of Gobi desert sort of way to me. A rock kind of desert, not in this sort of Saharan sand type desert which we get here. And of course, again, that could just be because this is Elder Scrolls Online and the next game is going to be Elder Scrolls 6 and it's just different. Maybe things have changed about the climate, maybe it's set, you know, thousands of years after, things are just different, but so something suggests Hammerfell, something suggests even Morrowind. I'm still inclined to believe this looks more like High Rock, to be honest, but I could be completely wrong, and honestly I think Bethesda are, I suspect they're trying to confuse us a little bit on purpose here. Yeah, they don't want to give them away too much. It's even possible they haven't decided exactly where it's going to be set yet, for all we know. As for those people saying, well, they've done Morrowind so many times before, both Elder Scrolls 3 and then they did it again in Elder Scrolls Online, yeah, that's definitely true. Be aware though that this eastern part of Morrowind has never been covered by an official Elder Scrolls game. The Tamriel Rebuilt project for Morrowind, which is a completely fan-based thing, certainly recreated that stuff with looking at Bethesda's maps. You've got Telvanni territory around here, and I think somewhere over here, or possibly down here, I think up here is where you've got the Necrom, the necropolis city of the Dunmer, which is an incredibly interesting city, I think, because Dunmer do, after all, worship their ancestors, the dead, effectively. Looking at this area, well, it's maybe a little bit small, but then again, it's not. Yeah, it's just about the size of Vvardenfell, isn't it? It is certainly smaller than all of Skyrim, but not that much smaller. So, well, the question is whether they really want to do another Dunmer game, I suppose. But this area, to me, it's interesting, and they haven't done it before. So, why shouldn't they? I mean, the Elder Scrolls 6 Necrom, or the Elder Scrolls 6 Telvannis. There's no reason why those titles couldn't work, although I kind of agree that if they did High Rock, maybe the sort of Daggerfall, and then sort of combine that with the Iliac Bay region and did Hammerfell, you could get, I guess, the Elder Scrolls 6 Hammerfall, which also has a nice ring to it. All remains speculation, of course, so whoever lives shall see and tell the tale. Until then, go in peace, live and let live.